So today we're going to learn about dictionaries in Python. So dictionaries are used to store variables inside it in the shape of key value pairs. As you can see here, we have this dictionary which is called items. Inside it, it has PC specs. And as you can see here, it has key value pairs. And for example, we have those keys like name, price, currency, processor, values like PC, 1000, USD, I9. So keys can be any type of data types except for being iterables. By iterables, I mean like lists, dictionaries, tuples, etc. And values can be any kind of data types. There is no exception for values. For example, if I want to make this key instead of being a string, if I want to make it a boolean, for example, and if I just print this items, see the outcomes, and if I run it, we can see that we have this dictionary and there is this key which is true. It worked. How about a number? We can do that. Around this, we can see that we have a number as a key. But if I want to add a list full of numbers, for example, and if I run this, we can see that we have an error. It says that type error and hashable type list. That means we have iterables inside our key. So I'm going to delete this and put it back as name. Now, if I want to know how many items I have inside this dictionary, all I have to do is just use the function len, and if I delete this and type len and put items inside its parentheses and run this, we can see that we have 4 items. If I want to know what's the data type of this items, which is this one, and all I have to do is just type, and if I run this, we can see that we have a class of dict. That means we have a dictionary. Now I'm going to clear our terminal to see better. To get any item inside this items dictionary, all we have to do is just delete this, type items, open empty brackets, and choose the key of that value that we want to get. For example, I want to get the value of this name. If I run this, we can see that we get PC, which is the value of this key. To change any value of any key, all we have to do is just type items, open empty brackets, and choose that key that we want to change its value. For example, I want to change the price. And all I have to do is just set it to any price I want. For example, I want to set it to 2000. And I'm going to delete this, see the whole dictionary, and we can see that the value which was 1000 now became 2000. If we want to add new item to this dictionary, to this items dictionary, all we have to do is just go here and type items, which is the name of the dictionary, and open empty brackets and type the new key that we want to give it a value. For example, I want to give this let's say RAM, and I want to give this PC let's say 32 gigs of RAM, for example. And if I run this, we can see that RAM as a name or key for this value, which is 32, was added. Now we will take a look at some dictionary methods that we can use with dictionaries. But first, I'm going to clear our terminal. The first method I want to talk about is clear. Now, clear, what it will do, it just will remove all the elements from the dictionary. For example, if I type items and I want to clear all the info inside it, or information inside it, all I have to do is just type clear, and it doesn't take any arguments. So if I run this, we can see that we have an empty dictionary. The next method we have is copy. So what it does, it will copy our dictionary, which is in this case items, and it will return, as it says, a copy of it. So I'm gonna delete all these lines. Since we don't need them anymore, I'm gonna type our new dictionary, which is another PC, and set it to items.copy. And this method copy doesn't take any arguments. So I'm gonna print another PC, and if I run this, we can see that we have identical dictionaries. So we have items and another PC, which are the same dictionary. The next method we have is get. So what it does, it will return the value of a specific key. For example, if I want to, I will first delete all this since we don't need it. I'm gonna print items, and I'm gonna use this get method. And if we hover on it, we can see that it returns for key, if key in the dictionary, else default. So if I want to get the value of name, and if I run this, we can see that we get PC. Is just the same as items, and just type name, does the same thing. There's one exception for this, is that if you don't have that key, or it's not, doesn't exist, we will get an error. For example, if I go back and just type, for example, anything like graphics card, and if I run this, you can see that we get an error. But if we use get and type the same thing, graphics card, and run this, we can see that we get none. So the benefit of using get, that if the item, or if the value or the keys doesn't exist, we don't get an error. And we can also use a default value if we don't have this, let's say this graphics card key. So for example, if it doesn't exist, all I have to do, just type this item does not exist. And if I run this, we can see that we get this message. So this is the benefit of using get. The next method we have is keys. So what it does, it will return a list containing all the dictionary's keys. So if I first, I'm gonna get rid of this and print items.keys. And this method doesn't take any arguments. So if I run this, we can see that we get a list of all the keys. In fact, we can loop through them. For example, we can do for key in items.keys, and if I print key, and first I'm going to comment this and run this, we can see that we get all the keys. So the next method we have is values. So what it does, it will return us a list of all the values of our dictionary. But first I'm going to clear this terminal. So I'm going to comment this out and uncomment this and type values to see what we will get. So I'm going to type values, and if I run this, we can see that we get all the values listed in here. And we can also iterate through them. So we can see here values, value, and we can change this to be values. And we will also change this to be value. So we can get all the values inside this dictionary. So if I run this, we can see that we got all the values and we have iterated through them. The next method we have is items. So items, what it does, it will return us a list that contains a tuple that also contains every key value pair inside this dictionary, which is items. So to see it in action, I'm going to comment this out, and instead of values, I'm going to type items. And if I run this, we can see that we get a list containing tuples. Now, this is useful to iterate through any dictionary, and in the same time, you get the keys and the values while iterating. So I'm going to comment this and uncomment this loop, and since we're going to get a tuple that contains a key and value, I'm going to add key and the value beside it, and if I run this, you can see that, oh sorry, I should change this to be items. And if I run this, we can see that we get the values. But if I want to get the keys, I can do that. All I have to do is just run it. If I want them both, I'm just going to type value here and print them. We can see that we get the keys and the values for each item inside this dictionary. The next method we have is pop. And what it does, it removes the element with the specific key that we will put inside its parentheses. For example, I'm gonna comment this and uncomment this and just type here pop. And if I hover on it, we can see that we can just tells us that if we it removes specific key and return the corresponding value. So if I just want to remove the name, for example, the value of name, I can do that. Well, all I have to do is just run this. We can see that we get a PC. So it's not only that it will remove that key value pairs, it will also give us back or return the value that the value of that key that we want to get rid of. For example, if I print the items again and see the changes, we can see that we no longer have the name inside this items. So this is useful if you want to take something out from this dictionary and retrieve its value. So the next method we have is pop item. So what it does is the same as pop, with one exception. It doesn't take any argument, and it will take out the last item inside our dictionary. So first I'm gonna delete all this since we don't need it, and I'm gonna type items dot pop item, and I'm gonna print see the changes in our items dictionary. So if I run this, we can see that processor and its value are no longer there. But pop item also returns back the key value pair. So if I cut this and put it inside the print function and run this again, we can see that we get a tuple containing the key value pair. The next method we have is set default. So what it does, it will return the value of a specified key, and if that key doesn't exist, we can specify a default value for it. So to see it in action, I'll delete all this and type items.set default. And for example, I want to set a default value for a key that doesn't exist. For example, hard disk. And I'm gonna give it a default value, which is, let's see, 100 gigabyte. And see this change, I'm gonna print items. And if I run this, we can see that hard disk was added. Now, how can this be useful? Let's say that we are expecting some information from the server, that we are connecting to a server and we are expecting some information. For example, this hard disk, if we, let's say, don't get a value for this hard disk, then we can now set a default value for it to avoid errors while processing the dictionary, which is here in this case items. The last method we have today is update. What it does, it will update the dictionary with the specified key value pairs. So here, for example, first I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna type items dot update, and this method takes an argument which is a dictionary. Let's say if I want to add the hard disk and give it a value of 100 gigabyte, and if I run this, we can see that it was added, and we can add as many items here as we want. For example, let's say graphics card, and set it to anything. Let's say RTX, and if I run this, we can see that it was added. So if we want to add dictionaries to already existing dictionary, we can do that using the update method. So this is the end of this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.